Hi and welcome to my channel, Empowered Movement and Health. I'm Esther and in today's video, it's all about back care. We're going to start on hands and knees, mobilizing the spine in all directions, and then moving on to strengthening exercises, keeping the mobility and the movement of your spine in mind. So we'll be moving your spine in all directions while strengthening your back muscles. Are you ready? Ready? Join me on the mat and let's get moving. So we're going to come and start in a 4-point kneeling position. You can tuck your toes under. You can either have your wrists under your shoulders, or you can have knuckles or forearms. If you're going on flat hands, really spread out your hands and make sure you've got weight on all the knuckles. Think of pushing the floor a little bit away and like a width across your upper back. And then if you tuck your toes under, try and get the little toe out as well. Sometimes that one gets a little bit stuck. Now, just your head. We're just going to lift the chin a little bit up. And then we're going to bring the head down and we try to look at the belly button. But focus mainly on just moving the head a few times up and down, not forcing it. Try and keep your jaw relaxed as you move your head up and down. And then from here, pause in the middle. So you're looking straight down like you would look into a mirror, and then tip your right ear to your right shoulder, and then your left ear to your left shoulder. So you go side to side. Check the difference between tipping your head to the side and looking behind to see your foot. So it's really a sideways. So you shouldn't be able to see your foot. This is the side-to-side motion, a lateral planar motion. And then we're going to do more of the rotation. So you turn your head side to side like this. Up and keep that width across your upper back. Let's do one more each way. And then in between, you've got the options to take a child's pose. See if you can keep your toes tucked. So you just send your bum back and reach your arms forwards. Or if you want something a bit more active, you lift up into your downward dog. There's always these two options. You choose what feels right for you today, or you switch it up. But toes tucked under in both. If you can, reach those arms long. Think of armpits towards the ground, towards your legs. We take 2 breaths here. And then we bring ourselves back. So again, same thing, wrists on the shoulders or on the knuckles. Now we go to our other end. So we're going to go to our tail. So you really think of your tail, your pelvis moving. Not so much the spine, think less spine, more pelvis. We're just going to bring the tail under. It's like your imaginary tail between the bump cheeks. And then you stick it a little bit up. It's not a big movement. Don't want to see a big cat stretch. It's really a small movement, again, from your pelvis. Tucking under and releasing. If you can, take your focus onto your sit bones, the 2 bony bits in your bum. When you tuck under, they come closer together. When you go the other way, they separate and it's like you're sticking them up to the ceiling. Of course, your lower back will move a little bit with, but you try to keep the rest of the spine fairly still. And then, like we did with the head side to side, you're going to think of swinging your tail side to side. Or another way to think of it is that hip bone coming more up to the rib, and then the other hip bone up to the rib. Don't worry if you're like, oh, this is a bit weird. That's why we do it. Yeah, because often this movement is a little bit blocked. So it's like, for me, it helps if I think I've got a tail and I just wiggle it side to side. Good. And then you can take this into a circle. So you imagine you're drawing a circle on the wall behind you with your tail or with a paintbrush. And again, really take that focus, that awareness down to the pelvis, sacrum area, and it will be a little bit lower back as well. And then go the other way around. So you can keep your shoulders still and your upper back still. So we're trying to isolate a little bit the movements just to make sure we can move them and not something else is moving more for it. And then pause in the middle, again in between, either a child's pose, 2 breaths, or a downward dog, 2 breaths. Think of, if you're in the downward dog, bend your knees and think of those sit bones up to the ceiling, head relaxed, long arms, 2 breaths here. And then we slowly come back. And then we have one more variation, and that's more your spine. So think more of your rib cage. So send your awareness more to the ribs. We try to not move the head, and we try to move as little as possible from the tail. So I think of rounding here. So I think between the shoulder blades mainly. And then extending, going the other way. It's very tempting to use the head. It's very tempting to do it from the pelvis or the lower back. Obviously, it will move a little bit with it's all attached, but the focus is more on that upper back. If it feels like it doesn't move, take your arms wider and see if that helps. Breathe out to round. Breathe in to extend. This is usually the area that moves the least in us. And then we use above and below to compensate a little. That's why it's so important to get the different parts moving. One more here. Now the side to side, you can think of just of moving your shoulders up and down, and then the rib cage will move side to side. But I prefer to use an arm. So I take my right arm, and it's like I want to reach to my right foot. And then I come back. And maybe just do 4 or 5 on one side and then the other way. I keep my head still, and you might even feel a nice stretch on the neck. Try and touch my foot. I'm obviously not getting there, but in that direction. If that's not good and too much on your arms, you can just think of that shoulder down. Do 5 on one side, maybe 2 more. And you get that side bend into your spine. And then we switch hands. If you're doing it with the arms, switch the left and then reach your left arm to your left foot. The right shoulder, try and keep it above your right wrist. So when you reach, you don't go back. You stay stuck. That's it. And then the spine has to move. So we keep the frame the same, and then the spine has no choice but to move. And 2 more. And then back into the middle. And now again, focus on the rib cage. Take it into a circular motion. Up and down and around. And really focus on your rib cage. Imagine I'm holding your pelvis still, so it's not moving there, and then reverse the other way. Really get the focus into the mid and upper back. And then pause in the middle. We lift up the right arm. You can do this in a box, or if it's too much on the arms, more of a child's pose. We go for threading the needle. I lift up my right arm. I breathe out and I go underneath and twist through. So here there's obviously more weight on my left arm. I take this arm forwards, there's less weight on my left arm. Then I press back and I lift back up and I inhale. Then we do 5 here each side, so 4 more in your own time. Breathe out and reach. And breathe in to lift. And again, so it's twisting, again, mainly rib cage, but of course the rest will follow too. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. And one. And then come back into the middle. Same on the other side. So I lift up my left arm. Remember, you can always take this arm more forwards. You can even be on a forearm if it's not good for your shoulder or your wrist. You breathe in, you lift, and you exhale, you dive underneath. So if you can keep your arm straight for as long as possible. So I reach, and then I consciously go, okay, now I can't go any further. Now I bend my arm to reach more. So it's a bit like a strengthening push-up type movement for your arm as well. 3 more. Going under, reaching, and back up. And then one more. Back into the middle. And then again, one more time. You've got the choice to take a child's pose. You can untuck the toes now and stretch it out, or you can take another downward dog. Whatever feels good for you. They are both great positions. 2 breaths. Relax in the neck, relax in the shoulders. And then we slowly release. We bring ourselves down and we're going to lower down onto the front. So you've got the choice to come forwards and slowly, slowly use your strong arms to lower yourself down, or you can come sideways down and support your back here. Good. We're going to start with our legs. So make it comfortable for your neck. I usually put my hands on top of each other and then rest my forehead down, but any position where you can breathe. Start with your legs wide, so they're mat width. And then from here, we're just going to lift the right leg up. Think of it reaching it long, like the toes want to touch the wall behind you. You're going to pull the toes towards you, and it's like you want to push the heel into the wall behind you. You're going to point it again, and you're going to lower it down. And then we switch to the other leg. So I think long leg, like I want to reach it long, and then it starts to lift up. Only as far as you can. First of all, keep both hip bones down. You feel the back of the leg and the bum work, and a little bit of work into the lower back muscles. Then I pull my toes in, feel like I'm reaching that heel away. I point the foot again, and I lower back down. And we're just alternating here, right and left a few times. I breathe in to lift. I breathe out to flex the foot. Breathe in to point, breathe out to lower. So it's slow. You try to feel the back of the leg work. So can we really stretch the back of the knee? So I'm not here with a bent floppy leg. Try and really reach. Pull it down. Feel like I'm pushing that heel away. You should feel the hamstring engage the back of the leg, the bum, and some back muscles. If this feels good on your body, then you can take your legs hip width. If it's like that's enough for my lower back, stay wide legs. But if all is good, switch to hip width. Remember, you can always put a towel under your belly, so between belly button and pubic bones, to help with the low back. Keep alternating, reaching, and check your hip bones at the front. You want to feel those 2 hip bones on the ground. We're going to do 2 more on each side. Reach, length, lift. And check those shoulders are down, head is relaxed. One more each way, each side. And then release, and you can either just shake your hips a little bit side to side, or you can bend your legs up, sort of windshield wipe them side to side. Both are a nice release. See what feels good for you. So when we're lying on our front, we are working the back of our body, but you just want to make sure we're not pushing the abs, the tummy into the ground. So we think of really breathing into the sides of the ribs, and almost like you want to lift a little bit up and in, just to prevent pressing into the ground with your abs or putting too much pressure on your back. Then release the legs, and usually wider legs and feet sort of turned in releases more in the bum and the back. More parallel legs, hip width, sometimes feels a bit tight on the back. So choose your leg position and then bring your arms down, all the way down, so they're glued onto your side. And you rest them down. Now we're just starting with the head. Imagine you've got, even if you don't have, a ponytail at the back of your head, and somebody's just picking up your head. You're just lifting up the head. I'm not pushing with my arms, I'm not lifting up a lot from my spine. And then I tuck my head in. I go on to press the forehead down, bring it out, and I lower down. We just do a few of those. If you can, on the way down, put your chin out, and then you draw the chin in as you start to lift up, and then you tuck your chin in even more, like you want to put the top of the head or the forehead down. Bring it back to center, lower down, and see if you can put your chin down. So you're taking your neck through the full range. If it's too much, smaller range, smaller movement. It's not about lifting high. It's about getting the neck to move, but also a little bit the upper back muscles right after the neck. 2 more here. And the deep neck flexors are a bit like the deep abdominals. They need a bit more conscious focus when we move. And they're very important. Last one. And then you can release, and you can always turn your head to one side to relax if that feels better. Now we imagine we have like an orange or an apple between the chin and the chest, so the head stays in this position like you're looking down into a mirror. Again, you're lifting a little bit up, just enough to feel the upper back. If your bum starts to squeeze or your legs start to squeeze, you've gone too high. So it may be a lot less lift than you think. So a little bit of a lift, and then we lift our arms up. I squeeze my elbows in. We go for a little swim. If straight away, as soon as you lift your head up, you feel your bum work, see if you can have your forehead down. You're going to reach your arms forwards. You're going to imagine you swim. So you'll press the arms sideways through the water. There's a bit more of a lift. When you imagine you're swimming this, when you're breathing in, you're reaching forwards. Your body lowers naturally a little bit down. You press the arms out. You swim around. Okay, so the legs are a little bit active, but you're not just squeezing and clenching the bum. Then you're too high for the moment. You really want to feel your upper back muscles work, the area after your neck and between the shoulder blades. Not here on the waist, not in the low back, not in the bum. We've got 2 more here. And 1. And then you can bring those arms around again. And same thing, you can give it a little shimmy from the hips, or you can fold the knees up and just shimmy rock the feet side to side. And then we're going to go sideways. So remember, you can always take your legs wider. We're going to bring our arms down to the side of the body. Have your palms face up to start with, so your shoulders are kind of rolled forwards. You're going to breathe and you're going to reach your fingertips towards your toes as you start to lift up and your head nods down. You spiral the arms away. So your thumbs are pointing out, little fingers are touching your sides. So really try and turn so the palms are facing down once you're up. So rotate them out. Now it's the little finger that glides down my right leg. See if you can keep your head straight. So again, you're opening into the sides here in the neck, back into the middle, and then down the left. And a few here, side to side. Whenever you need a rest, you can obviously lower down. Try to rotate so the palms are facing down and the little fingers are touching you. Philippa, turn your arms so the palms are facing down. That's it. Now you feel more activity in your upper back. Good. So we've got those palms down so the upper back muscles work a bit more. And where the arm and the back meet, that area as well. If you want more, if I go down my right leg, I can try and lift up my left foot or leg. When I go down my left, I can lift up the right. This is an add-on. You don't have to add your legs. Try and lift the shoulders back and down. Good. Let's do 2 more each side. And 1 more. And bring your arms around again. You can rest them on top of each other. You might also felt some muscles in the back of the arm work. Give it a little shake. And a little release. We have 1 more here, one last one. So now we're going to try and do a bit of a twist or a rotation. We start with our arms nice and wide, really take them wide. And I'm just going to start to press my right hand into the floor. Basically, my body starts to twist. I'm going where my hips stays down at the moment. Your head, you can look down, you can look up, wherever it feels good for the neck. Then you release it back down, and then you straighten out your left arm. And you're rotating your spine a little bit to that left side. The closer we bring our arms, the bigger the movement or the twist. So if this was okay, you want a little bit more, you just glide your hands a tiny bit in, and then you can see now, twisting a lot more. Then slowly back down. Good. Keep alternating. Press and lift. And then we do 2 more each side. Press and lift. And as you straighten that arm, try not to have the shoulder up like this. Think of elbow down, roll that shoulder back and down. That's it. And 1 more. And then release it back down again. You can give it a little shake. And then we're going to come back up either on or through your forearms or through your hands here, pressing up. Make sure to lift your hips up first. Or, of course, you can roll to your side and then lift yourself up that way. And then just choose whether you feel like a cat stretch or maybe a child's pose. But usually it's nice to round the spine the other way. So child's pose, you could also do the hedgehog version or the shell stretch where you round this way. Or your cat stretch, breathing out, rounding. 2, 3 breaths, whichever feels good for you. A few more breaths here. Thank you for moving with me. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next week.